Hey everyone, how you doing today? I'm here with another knife review. Today I wanted to show you the Mcusta Tsuchi large knife. There is a smaller version of this knife. This particular one has the 3 1/4 inch blade, and I believe the other one has 2 3/4 inch blade. That's the small one. The model number on this one, the large, is MC-114D Delta, and pretty impressed with this knife. Mcusta, if you're not familiar with them, it's a really nice Japanese knife company. And I say really nice just because a lot of stuff coming from overseas, China, Japan, wherever, it's kind of hit or miss. Quality levels have definitely been rising over the years, and I've had this knife for several years now, and it was definitely kind of top of the quality pile at the time, or towards the top. And since then, competition has risen, but even still, this knife offers a lot of value and a lot of uniqueness in my opinion. Now the styling on it, it might not be for everybody. It's definitely unique, but Mcusta is known for having a lot of different really unique and original designs. They're also known for making really tight tolerances, and this knife is no exception. When I first was looking at I was really kind of torn because they have this model where it has the stainless steel handle, and the other option is also stainless steel but is anodized black. So I was kind of torn on which one I wanted to get, but I'm glad I went with this one. It just kind of ties in nicely to the hammered effect on the actual blade itself. The cutting edge on the blade is actually 3 inches. You have a little choil right here, and the handle is actually about 4.4 inches, if I recall, right around there. It's made of stainless steel, and you also have a frame lock, and no insert needed because it's just steel on steel. So frame lock. Locks up really nice and solid, about 50% there, maybe just a little bit less, but that's great. Slightly recessed just a little bit right here, so you can kind of catch the lip of it, push it over. Washers, nice strong detent. Very, very nicely made, very rigid, very solid feel. Now all of the Mcustas are, and I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. I've heard Mcusta. I just call it Mcusta. But they're laser cut, all of the parts of the knife, and then they're hand finished. So there's a lot of attention to detail coming out of their factory. All of their knives are very nicely made. I've handled, let's say, right around 20. And I know they made more than that, but I've handled a good portion of the different models they make. And I think the only thing I've ever really seen more than once was sometimes the blade centering was off. Otherwise, I really didn't see many problems. All of their knives come really sharp. At least the ones I handled, very sharp. This is no exception. This is razor sharp. Now this particular knife has a VG10 core, and then you have layered Damascus. It's like a nickel base Damascus on top of the VG10 core, which makes up the cutting edge. Really nice looking. And on there it says Mcusta, Seki, Japan. Same place where a lot of nice Spydercos come out of, Seki City. The Mcusta logo there. Sterile on this side, nothing else, which is nice. So we can get this to focus. Just trying to get all the detail for you guys. It's really a nice looking knife. And even if you don't like the looks of it, you got to admit it's unique. And I really think it's cool how they have this hammered look and just tie it right into the handle. Pretty cool. Flow-through design, stainless steel pillar construction. There's 2 pillars and then kind of a third one right here in the middle. And the pivots, okay, like I said, I've had this for a long time. I've been handling it, carrying it. The pivots, you probably won't pick it up here. They have a very slight blue anodization to the steel thumb studs and pivot screws. All right, and it's barely noticeable even to me now, and it used to be a little bit more noticeable. And since it's steel, I have to assume that it was a heat treat that created that. So I don't know if over time that fades or what, but it normally is kind of a bluish purple color, and that has since been less vibrant over the years. Pocket clip is tip down carry only, and only for right hand carry. Right. So yeah, that's something I don't like, but whatever, no big deal. It can't be perfect. No knife is. Nice crowned spine here. Let's see if I can get this to really pick it up. It's all rounded on the spine. Very, very nice touch. Just a little bit classier, as opposed to something like, what's a knife I have here? See how this is just, and my camera won't focus, sorry. It's not rounded, it's just flat on this spine here. Same thing on, well, that's not a good example. Reaching for, oh, here we go. Here's another knife. See, a nice flat, and this one's nice and rounded off. Kind of a custom look to it, very nice. Nice and rounded there. A very, very sharp tip, very sharp. Everything about this just screams it's gonna cut really well. I didn't do a lot of cutting with, paper, basic stuff like that here. Let me show you. Very sharp. Not bad at all. So, other than that, you have, like I said, stainless steel on the handle, stainless steel hardware, stainless steel everything, VG10 core, nickel layered Damascus on the blade there, and this pocket clip kind of has almost like a orange peel, kind of like a sparkly finish almost. I don't know if the camera will really pick up the texture on that. You might be getting that now. It's alright. It's kind of a flimsy design. It kind of feels cheap. It does its job, but as I would say, man, this knife feels like high quality, very nicely done, except for that pocket clip. That's kind of cheap feeling to me. It weighs in at just under 4 ounces. I think it was like 3.85 or something like that. So not too heavy, and definitely not the most lightweight knife out there for a 3¼ inch blade, but it's definitely nice. This is something a little classier, if you ask me. Something that kind of almost fits into like a, I don't know, maybe a gentleman folder sort of knife. These are going for right around $120 new. I'm sure you can find them less, especially now since they've been around for a while. However, that might not necessarily be true, just because I've seen a lot of the Mcusta knives, since they are a little bit less available sometimes, go for a little bit more on the secondary market, just because there is still a demand for certain models, and what may have been $70 before is now $170, so you just never know. And I really haven't priced these out, but yeah, really cool knife. I think it's obviously something, like I said, like a gentleman folder or an EDC knife. It's not the most ergonomic, I mean, the handle design does have some nice beveling or chamfers, so it's not really square and blocky feeling. There's multiple angles, so that's really nice. So as far as edginess goes, it is comfortable in the hand, okay? But it's very thin, which is nice in the pocket, but it's really not designed, it doesn't have a lot of curvatures like a nice deep finger choil. It really doesn't do anything for heavier cutting. So just light, everyday, normal tasks, I think this knife's going to excel pretty well. And very, very smooth, fast deployment. and very solid lockup. There's definitely not any blade play or any movement in any direction. No rattling. Again, very smooth action. Very nice positive detent. Looks really nice when it's closed, kind of ties everything together, and then you get just a touch of that Damascus kind of popping out there, which is nice. Centering is, looking through my camera, I was gonna say perfect. It's almost perfect. It's a little to the right, just a little bit. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's not way off center or anything like that. It is just a little bit to the right. So, you know, not touching anywhere. Nice tight tolerances. Real thin package. It really is comfortable in the pocket. So it is a little bit heavier, and it feels substantial, but it doesn't feel big and clunky. But this is only like 0.35 inches thick, so it's really thin. So it's kind of a trade-off. It doesn't feel bulgy in your pocket, but it also doesn't feel like a featherweight, something like maybe the Emissary, for example. Right. And that's a good size comparison. I guess I could show you that. It is a little bigger than the Emissary, as you can see. And the Emissary is it is a featherweight sort of everyday carry knife. But similar in some ways. They both have this long, slim blade design. But the Tsuchi by Mcusta here is just a little bit larger overall, and just in every dimension except for thickness. I would say it's just a little bit thinner, yeah, than the Emissary. Emissary's got some better options in my opinion, just because it has a deeper carry, and on smaller knives I like that, and it does tip up carry. It's a big deal for me. But it doesn't have some of the luster, you know, some of the eye-catching appeal aesthetically that this has. This is just really, really a good-looking knife in my opinion. And again, if it's really not your taste, it's at least, you know, it's a eye-catcher. It's something that people are gonna appreciate just because it has so much going on. So yeah, very cool knife. Another comparison might be the Kershaw. I believe this is called the Shallot. Similar because it's got, you know, their own versions of Damascus. You know, I understand that it might not be. I understand that they're not real Damascus, but it's what the manufacturers are labeling Damascus. So whatever, you know, I guess I'll just run with that, and that's why I'm calling it Damascus. But for all you purists out there, I completely understand these are not real Damascus blades, but it has that effect. And so they're similar in blade length. Handle's a little bit longer on the Kershaw just because this kind of flares up here by the pivot area. But they're very, very similar knives. They, you know, the Kershaw is a little bit heavier actually, and but they are similar in overall dimensions. You know, thickness. Kershaw is just slightly thicker, and they're both frame locks. And if I recall, they're both in similar price ranges. I think the Kershaw might be just a little bit more. Actually, maybe not. I think the Kershaw is right around 100. Probably should have looked that up, but it does have this flipper, which is different than the thumb stud deployment, and it is assisted opening. It's called Speed Safe for Kershaw, which I'm sure you all know. And let this camera focus. Recurve blade, so quite a bit different, a lot more organic looking blade design here. But both are very classy looking. Still just, you know, beautiful blade, beautiful curves on the Kershaw. I still would have to, you know, if I wanted to put something into a gentleman folder sort of category, Mcusta takes it. It's just really, really classy looking, very nice looking. So anyway, that's really it for this review. Pretty straightforward, very nice. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions about it. Please like, please subscribe, and thanks again. Have a good day.